Hey guys, welcome back. I'm sorry that we can't be in class together, but it's been mandated that we be safe. So on our Google Classroom, today I posted for tomorrow, today being Tuesday, I'm recording early, that I've attached a new calendar with new homework due dates for study guides. Again, you're going to be sharing those study guides with me in an email. You can take a picture of it because a lot of you do have a hard copy of what you've already done. And I know a lot of you over break were missing U.S. history, that y'all dove into that book and you started with that study guide on Truman. So some of you who have been very gregarious and pugnacious have gone out there, have got it done. Just send me those and I'll start putting them in grades. I've also told y'all on a previous post that I did not put the World War II test in the third 9 weeks. I put it in the fourth 9 weeks, so you could see my previous post right here. I've already put it in. I asked permission from the principal to put it in later because I did have several students that were gone because of SAT day school, every trip that was going on, people who were sick. So I still have people who need to test. I went and gave everybody who tested the A test correction points. If you do not like your test grade, email me and I do have a retest option. So that is going to already be posted in the fourth 9 weeks. Let me go back to this post right here. So a lot of you have those study guides. If you need them, email me again at cverdin, VERDIN, at WISD.org, and I can share those with you. What we are going to do today is we're going to look at the calendar, we're going to look at our project, and we're going to also watch the best years video. Some of you maybe watched that already, but it's a good preview into this new post-war, Cold War era that we are getting into. So let me pull out the calendar first. It is on here. I'm sorry I can't give you a colorful calendar, but this one is going to be our virtual calendar. Today, what we're going to be doing is I'm going to be introducing the 20th and 21st century interview. We're going to watch best years, and then your homework tonight is the foreign policy. As you can see, on Friday, I'm going to post a video on Truman's foreign policy. It's going to be a PowerPoint. It's already been recorded from last year. That's just going to go over content. And then as we move through the next week, we'll do Truman domestic. We'll watch the Happy Days video. We'll move to civil rights, which is really interesting. And we'll have another video that we'll watch. And then we'll do Eisenhower foreign, domestic, and then Kennedy foreign and domestic. And again, there will be something that we'll be working on as we go through these PowerPoints. So as we go through these PowerPoints, I'm going to upload this next time. But I'm going to tell you now, let me just get through all my papers that I have here. As you go through the PowerPoints, this is something that you're going to be working on as a test grade. You're going to be watching some YouTube videos that I do on Truman, Eisenhower, and Kennedy, and you're going to fill out the following chart. During the PowerPoints, you could fill them out. After the PowerPoints, whatever it is, you're going to fill out and you're going to define, like, what's the Truman Doctrine? What do you grade that president on that doctrine? And why did you give him that grade? Was Truman successful in helping Turkey and Greece prevent communist takeover? And Truman was. So I would probably give him an A. He prevented them from falling behind the Iron Curtain. And then you're going to go through the Truman Forum PowerPoint. And it is not everything on the PowerPoint. I'm just hitting the highlights. And then at the end, you will have a writing assignment. And this will be a test grade. You could use your notes with it, but I'll go over that later. So that's what we're going to be doing with our PowerPoints, that as we go through those videos, you will be filling that out before, after, and that's just going to be our test grade in lieu of doing a multiple choice test. Again, this is something that you have in your ballpark. You could get the highest grade possible because that chart is points and what you write after is points. So let's look at what we are getting today. So we have a calendar. We also have gotten our study guide. Y'all got a Truman Foreign, so that's tonight's homework. And then the next night homework is domestic. If you need any of those, please email me. The last thing I have to go over is this 20th, 21st century interview. So this is going to be something that is going to be due May 11th, but this is 2 parts. I'm giving you a lot of time to get this done. You need to eventually find an individual that you will share significant events that occurred in the United States in the last 40 years. You may interview 2 people. Sometimes people want to interview their grandparents and then their parents, or there's someone that they know that they want to interview, but they have to be from 2 different generations. This must be an oral interview. Do not email your questions or your responses to your person and just expect them to type up the answers. You should be able to converse with the person over the phone or virtually to interact with them, with your interviewee. To prepare these questions, I'm telling you right here what I want those questions based on. But you must read chapters 40 and 41. I have no clue what's going on with my computer. It's just rejecting me like all things in life. Okay, sorry, you will not miss the snark. There's just 2 chapters because we're doing an interview and you will submit questions on Reagan, Bush, Clinton, Bush, Obama. When I'm looking to grade your questions, if you have something on the moral majority, which is a group of people who supported Reagan and you're going to find out more in the book what they liked and their issues that they took stance on. Or Star Wars. It is not the movie Star Wars. It's a that's a hard word to say, strategic defense initiative, where it was this laser program that we were going to obliterate the Soviet missiles. It did not work. Again, don't give me something about the movie. There's several things on here that you will read in the book that you'll find out more, like Sandra Day O'Connor being the first Supreme Court justice that is a female appointed by the Reagan administration. You're going to develop questions on these. There are 30 questions here. These questions are due April 17th. The reason why I have them due earlier is because it will take you time to get this interview done. So there's also some bonus questions. You could get 10 points on this. Again, that's 110 you could get for an assessment. So these are the things I have prescribed, the topics I want. So let me show you a sample question. I actually want to read this one right here. And I know this is from a time period. This is from 1962. But these were questions that I asked my mom. And so in October, and I want you to look at this. There's 2 parts to these questions. The first part is the history. In October of 1962, U-2 spy planes flying over communist Cuba discovered the Soviets were building missile sites. Again, that's the history. When you ask questions to your interviewee, you're just not asking, hey, do you know who Sandra Day O'Connor is? No, you need to be rejotting their memory because I don't want yes or no answers. So here's some more history. For 13 days, the world stood on edge of nuclear war while JFK and Khrushchev negotiated. So again, that first part was just history rejotting. Any good journalist is going to bring back the historical content to refresh their person's memory. So here's now the full question. The first part was the history. The second part is the question. I asked my mom, how did your family react? Her response is that my grandparents put all of their kids, all 7 siblings, in the backyard. And they were digging a hole. And I was like, Mom, what were y'all doing? She was like, we were going to build a bomb shelter. They really thought nuclear annihilation was going to occur. They had been told that to duck and cover at school, but they knew that that wouldn't last because they've seen the bombings on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. So they really thought that the world was in. And that's my next question. And so they were out there, all 7 of her siblings, they were building a bomb shelter. And again, the next one, at school, did you practice nuclear drills? And she told me that they did. They did duck and cover. They went out into the hallways to get ready for nuclear annihilation. So I asked her eventually what happened to that big hole that they were building, because I had no clue. And that's what eventually turned into my grandparents' swimming pool. Again, this helps me get my interviewee to know their personal opinion and how they interacted with the history. Okay, the next one on here is just another common one of President Kennedy while he's killed driving through downtown Dallas. How did you hear about the assassination? And again, it's just jotting more information. So your finished interview. At the beginning of your paper, you will type a short paragraph about the person you interview. So like I just told you, I interviewed my mom with those questions. You would have to tell the approximate age of that person. So my mom, I would list her name, Mary Jane. Well, her name is Maria San Juan de los Lagos Carmona Gonzalez Perez, but I would just call her Mary Jane. Her approximate age is 70. She's Hispanic. She's from San Antonio. She's been a teacher, a stay-at-home mom. She's currently retired. Again, this is just giving me background information. We could see that through the 80s, she was a stay-at-home mom with me and my brother. She had 2 kids. She is mainly Hispanic. She lived on the south side of San Antonio. And this just gives a better understanding of their responses. Okay, she went to university in San Antonio. That just tells me about them. She was married to my dad, who was part of the military, which is why they lived in San Antonio. So again, that just gives me background. You need a little biography of your person, right? And that's going to be worth points. That's 10 points of the interview. Then your questions that you will get done by the 17th, that's 30 points. The last thing that is the 60 points is the interview, okay? Again, your questions should not be in yes, no format. They should be, I found out so much stuff through people's interviews. Like, for example, did y'all know when the space shuttle, the Challenger, exploded? Parts of it exploded over Waxahachie. There were several sites of people having, like, the sheriffs going out and finding stuff. So we're going to find out a lot about our local history, okay? So again, this is not due to May 11th, okay? You should be working on this, developing your questions. Again, your final interview of what you're turning in, your biography for your person, which is 10 points, the interview, which is 60 points, is going to count as that test grade. Okay, 30 points you're earning by April 17th with your questions. Your thorough knowledge of the historical events will be heavily weighted in your final grade. Copying, sharing, making up an interview, or collaboration on the interview will result in a 0. So that means you and someone else working on an interview. Believe me, guys, I've seen these interviews year round, and I've caught people cheating. You do not want a 0 for your final grade. You have time to work on this, okay? I don't know if y'all want me to host a Google Hangout so we could talk more about the interview, or Zoom, or what y'all want to do to talk about this. I could do YouTube Live where we could discuss it. So if you have any more questions, please email me, and we'll create a Google Hangout or a Zoom that we could sit down and talk about what's going on. Email me. I miss y'all. Bye.